Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Thursday. We're one day away now from Arsenal's opening game of pre-season. They are in Germany, of course, preparing for that game against Nurnberg tomorrow. I think it's 4:30pm kickoff UK time. You can watch it on the Arsenal website, Arsenal app. I think you do have to pay for the streaming service, but it is available to watch if you want it. So hopefully we get our first taste of quite a few players this season, including obviously Gabriel Jesus, who is over with the squad. Now, Gabriel Jesus has been speaking exclusively to Goal. We've run that story today. If you haven't seen it, go over to my social media channels. At the moment, he's given us his first interview to non-Arsenal club media. He's been speaking about his move, why he moved, his discussions with Arteta, Edu, those sort of things. So I'll go through a few of the quotes of what Gabriel Jesus had to tell us during that interview, but please do go onto my social channels, go onto goal.com, and you'll find the full exclusive interview there. So obviously, Gabriel, one of the big things is, why Arsenal? There was lots of clubs interested in Gabriel Jesus this summer. Some of them in Champions League. Obviously, Arsenal won that race, so why Arsenal? This is what he said. He said, "In my life, I always liked projects. When Edu came to talk to me, I was so happy with the ideas of the club, the way they want to go, the things they want to do. Then I was pretty sure I would come to Arsenal. But after I talked to Mikel, I was 100% sure. Because I trust him, because I trust in this big club, and I trust in myself and the players as well. There is a lot of talent here, very good players, young players like me. I'm still young, so everyone is in this together. It's like a family, and that's what I want." So that's Gabriel Jesus there talking about why he chose Arsenal. Interesting there, obviously, talking about the chats he had with Edu, and then the final chat he had with Mikel, which absolutely convinced him that Arsenal was the right move for him. The pair of them worked together before. We know that at Manchester City. They had a good relationship there while they were at City. And that has obviously played a big part in Arsenal winning the transfer battle for Gabriel Jesus. This is what he had to say about, what he can bring to Arsenal and what he wants to achieve at Arsenal. He said, "First of all, I need to adapt to the club, adapt with the players, the way they play and the way they are. After this, everything else will come naturally because this is football and football is the same everywhere. Then at the end of the season, I want to win something, win trophies like everybody here at Arsenal. That is the only way to make myself a name in the history of this big club. It's a big club with a big project. When Edu explained to me what they want for the future, I was so excited to join Arsenal because I love the project. I want to win trophies. I want to win everything." Good words to hear them from Gabriel Jesus. He hasn't come here for a payday or anything like that. He wants to carry on winning. I mean, he is used to winning since he arrived at since he arrived in England with Manchester City, which I think was January 2017 when he made that move from Palmeiras. He's won 4 Premier League titles. Won the League Cup 3 times, won the FA Cup. Obviously didn't get his hands on the Champions League, came close, but didn't get his hands on the Champions League. But he knows exactly what it means to win trophies. He always wins trophies. He's one of the most, since he arrived at the club, he's one of the most decorated players in England. And he'll want to continue that at Arsenal, and that's what those quotes say. He is here for a winner. That's why Mikel was so keen to bring Gabriel Jesus in and to have him as basically the lead of his kind of new look attack at Arsenal. He wants a winner. He wants someone to bring that mentality to the changing room to help the young players. And that's why Arsenal was so determined to win the race for Gabriel Jesus. And I thought it was some really good comments for him there. He's also carried on in that interview. Like I said, he talks about Thierry Henry and how he kind of, when he thinks of Arsenal, he thinks of Henry, and Henry we know was someone he watched when he was a youngster growing up in the streets of Sao Paulo. Didn't get to see much European football, but when he did, he was always really keen to watch Thierry Henry. He was one of his idols, and he talks about that and how he doesn't want to match Henry. He wants to write his own kind of name in the Arsenal history books. And fingers crossed it's going to be a really positive signing for Arsenal. You kind of listen to that interview, you hear what he had to say, and it was tough not to come away from it thinking, he's got something about him. He's going to add an awful lot to the changing room, not just in terms of quality and his goals on the pitch, but in terms of what he's going to bring to the group and the experience, the winning mentality, all that sort of stuff, which again is exactly why Mikel Arteta was so keen to sign him. So like I said, please do head over. You'll find it on my social channels. I've tweeted it. I've put it on my Facebook. You'll find the link to that exclusive interview with Gabriel Jesus. You can also find it going direct to goal.com. It's the main story on the site, and give it a read because it's a decent read. Okay, let's quickly turn our attentions to what is happening in Germany now, shall we? Like I said, Arsenal in action tomorrow night, the first game of pre-season. We're now less than a month away from that game against Crystal Palace on the opening day of the Premier League season. So Arsenal have had one behind closed doors friendly at Colney. They won that last weekend, beating Ipswich 5-1. They will now be in more competitive action with a crowd on Friday night in that game against Nurnberg. One player who probably isn't going to be involved, but having said that, there is still, some good news on him in the injury front is Fabio Vieira, Arsenal's other big signing so far of the summer. Now, we all saw that picture, last week was it? Sometime like that, when there was a picture doing the rounds of him at Sopwell House, which is their kind of hotel place where a lot of new signings come and stay at Arsenal while they're looking for their house and that sort of thing. And he was pictured with a fan outside Sopwell House, and he had a big protective boot on his left ankle. I can't remember one of his feet, one of his ankles, and that obviously generated a lot of concern amongst the Arsenal fan base. Like, is he injured already? What's happened? He then took to social media and explained that it was just a precaution, that he would be joining up with pre-season soon. He told everyone to calm down. It was nothing to worry about. And the good news is that Fabio Vieira is now out in Germany with the Arsenal squad, and he's not wearing that protective boot. Not in what we've seen of him anyway. We've seen pictures of him and he's riding a bike, not in his protective boot, and that is a very positive sign. But having said that, he didn't go through sort of full training with the Arsenal squad today. You sort of watch the video that Arsenal have put out on Arsenal.com or on the app at the moment for their sort of training session, and you can see that Fabio Vieira is not a part of that. No surprise, because he's coming back from this injury. He's not going to go straight into working with a group and contacts and all of that, so they're going to take their time with Fabio Vieira. But it is a boost that he's now no longer wearing that boot. He doesn't need to wear it, and it certainly seems, as he said when he took to social media just to calm everyone down a little bit, that it was nothing serious and he would soon join in with pre-season. Arsenal, of course, after the game on Friday against Nuremberg, they come back directly after that game. Then next week, early part next week, they fly out to America for that pre-season tour of the States, where they've got 3 games against Chelsea, Orlando City, and who's the other one? Everton. And that's when I would expect we'll see Fabio Vieira potentially in an Arsenal shirt for the first time. And I think we're all intrigued to see that, because he's a bit of a mystery signing, Fabio Vieira. We've all heard good things, but let's face it, not too many of us have really watched him extensively other than on YouTube and that sort of thing. So it'll be good to get our first glimpse of him. It doesn't look like it's going to happen tomorrow night. You never know. It might surprise us. He might get 20 minutes or so, but it's looking more likely that it'll be against in that tour of the USA. But still, good news that he is out of that protective boot. Okay, so looking ahead to tomorrow's game a little bit in terms of who we should see start. Like I said, Gabriel Jesus, definitely expecting to see him get his first action in an Arsenal shirt, probably for 45 minutes, maybe an hour. The game against Ipswich last week, the behind closed doors game, Mikel used that as basically 2 different matches. Yeah, one team for the first 45 minutes, one team for the second 45 minutes. We're not going to see that as blatantly against Nurnberg, because the number of players who have gone over there's nowhere near as many youngsters, who basically the whole of the second half against Ipswich was just a team full of kids. That's not the case. There are quite a few youngsters over there, like Patino, Salah, Balogun's obviously over there, Matt Smith's over there. But there's not a whole changed 11, so we'll probably see a lot. Most of the senior players, the sort of first team senior players who are there right now in the first half, and then we'll see it mixed about a little bit in the second half. So in terms of who I'm expecting to see potentially start that game, kind of picks itself a little bit at the moment. We'll definitely, like I said, I think we'll see Jesus. The attack will probably be Jesus, Martinelli. Maybe Reece Nelson out on the right. There's no Bukayo Saka. Nicolas Pepe's there as well. It could well be Martinelli, Nelson, and Gabriel Jesus. You're going to see probably El Neni in midfield, maybe Ainsley Maitland-Niles centre back, Gabriel, Ben White, Hector Bellerin at right back, Kieran Tierney, which is great news. The Kieran Tierney's obviously over there playing and training at the moment, so that's good to see. I think Leno will probably start in goal, and might well be Matt Turner. One of those two will play in the second half, you'd imagine. Leno's still no closer, it seems, to sealing his move away from the club. But, lots of first-team players there, so it should be a decent team over there, which is good. Quite a lot of Arsenal fans have headed over for that one. And And it'll be interesting to see what formation Mikel lines up with as well in that game, and certainly in the first half against Nuremberg. And then you'll see a lot of rotation in the second half. Those youngsters I mentioned will come on. Sambi Lakonga's there as well. So lots of people to keep in. Balogun's over there. Lots of players to get a run out during that game. Looking forward to watching how they get on. Transfer-wise, there's not too much to report at the moment, I'm afraid, that I'm aware of anyway. That doesn't mean, obviously, that there's nothing going on. There could well be lots going on and they're closing in on a deal. But it's just, at the moment, I haven't heard anything to state that anything is close. But absolutely could be. We'll have to wait and see what Arsenal, can they pull another rabbit out of the hat like they did with Fabio Vieira. The main ones are still ongoing. Martinez, I don't think there's been much movement at all really from last time I spoke about it. Just that he's made it clear to Ajax that he wants to go, he wants to join the Premier League club. No bids have been accepted yet from Arsenal or Manchester United for him, and until someone has a bid accepted, then it can't really move on. But he absolutely wants to go. The whole Rafinha situation's still ongoing. Obviously, I saw reports today, I think that Leeds was saying he's going to train on his own, or someone was reporting that he's going to train on his own at Leeds while until this gets resolved. Obviously, Arsenal have had bids rejected for him. Chelsea have had a bid accepted, but he doesn't want to join them. He wants to go to Barcelona. He's trying to wait to see if the Barcelona deal happens. If it doesn't, then maybe Chelsea will get that deal done, or he'll come back on the market. Maybe Arsenal go in, I don't know. But, it's very much kind of just waiting to see what card Barcelona play in that regard. And elsewhere, sort of outgoings, it doesn't seem like anything's really sort of moved on at the moment, apart from what we've seen with a couple more youngsters heading out on loan over the last week or so. It's just having a bit of a lull, which kind of tends to happen a little bit when teams head off on their pre-season. That's why it was important to get at least a couple of players through the door before the pre-season really kicked into gear, because that always seems to slow things down a little bit. But rest assured, I know that Arsenal are working hard to try and get some deals done sooner rather than later in the transfer market. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Appreciate your time as always. Have a very good end to your Thursday, and look forward to watching that game tomorrow night. Remember, 4:30 p.m. kickoff UK time. Arsenal get their pre-season underway in Germany against Nuremberg.